Hello everyone, this is Anupama Lavhe, and as you know I am here to take your subject company law. Under that we are discussing today the topic lifting of corporate wealth. What is lifting of corporate wealth? Before discussing this topic, I want to revise your one characteristic of a company, that is separate legal entity. What you have learned under this separate legal entity? Separate legal entity means the company is different, or you may say separate from its members or from the persons who are running or carrying out the business of the company. That is this unique characteristic of a company, that is separate legal entity. Any obligations or any liability of a company is of its own and it does not belong to the members of the company. But sometimes for carrying out the business fraudulently for personal gain, the persons who are, that means the directors who has the authority to run the business, runs it fraudulently. Under such circumstances, sometimes the provisions of the Companies Act and sometimes the code who uplift this special characteristic and consider the members and the company as one and same. Then what is lifting? Lifting means upholding, or you may say this is a company and these are the person. There is an artificial veil, or you may say there is an artificial wall between these two that divides the company from its members. But when this veil, जैसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं पर्दा, ठीक है, when this पर्दा is lifted, then we say that there is a lifting of corporate wealth and the company and the person who are carrying out the business, or you may say that directors or the members of the company, are considered as one and the same. This is possible under two circumstances. You may classify this lifting of corporate wealth under two provisions, that means statutory provisions and under judicial interpretations. What is statutory provisions? How it is different from judicial interpretations? Statutory provisions means, you all know that company is an incorporated person. Incorporated person. That means its existence under some statutes. And the Companies Act provides that companies are incorporated under Companies Act. Companies Act. And the company has to follow all the provisions which are mentioned under the Companies Act for carrying out its business, because company is an artificial person and it cannot work or it cannot carry out its activity by its own. So it carries out its activity through natural persons, and these natural persons have to follow what they have to follow, the rules and regulations which are made under Memorandum of Association and Articles of Associations. How these two documents are made, or how these two documents are created? By observing the Companies Act. And if you overrule this company's provisions, then we say that you are disregarding the statutory provisions. And who are overruling the statutory provisions? The natural persons who are running the business are overruling these statutory provisions. And under such circumstances, the company and its members are held as one together. That means there is no distinction between the company and its members. What are those statutory provisions? When the company, that means the statutes can uplift the Corporate wealth. First is incorporation on the basis of false or fraudulent information. Let us discuss this point. What is the first point? Incorporation on the basis of false or fraudulent information. As the company is run through the natural persons, they have to follow the ethics of rules which are formed under the Companies Act. And the ethics says that whichever information which is provided through prospectus or memorandum of association or any document which is issued or which is filed by the company with the registrar must contain true and true information only. But if any type of information which is false or fraudulent is provided by the company is treated as provided by its members or the authorities who authorized to do so. They are not authorized to do, that means they are not authorized to provide the false and misleading information. They have to follow the ethics, but what they are doing here, they are misleading the persons, that means the third parties, by making a fraud or providing the misleading information. If such things happen, then the veil between the company and the person or the members is lifted and the liabilities of the company are treated as the liabilities of the members or the authorities. So what are different provisions when it is treated as fraudulent information is provided? The first one is by furnishing any false or incorrect information or representation. What these authorities are doing, they are providing to the investors or to the third parties any information which is not true and which is a fraudulent one. Under such circumstances, you lift the veil of the company. What is the second? By suppressing any material fact. What means suppressing? That means concealing. Concealing means what? छुपाना, किसी को छुपाना. कौन सी fact they are suppressing? Material fact. On which basis you decide whether to make any contract with the company or not to make a contract with the company. And if this such material fact is concealed by the company, then that means information in any of the documents filed. What types of documents are filed by the company? For example, memorandum of association, articles of association, prospectus. These are the documents, these are some of the documents which are filed by the company with the registrar. And if these documents which are filed suppresses any material fact or information, then we say that there is the incorporation on the basis of false or fraudulent information and the veil between the company and the members or the directors is lifted. Then the third one is by suppressing any material fact or information in any of the declaration. Meaning declarations has to be filed with the registrar, declaration by the directors of the company, by the members of the company. If these declarations suppresses material fact, then also it is treated that the information is fraudulent one and the company's veil is, that means that the parda, that is the veil between the company and members is lifted and the persons who makes the fraud are treated as responsible for all the losses which are incurred by the parties. And the last one is by any fraudulent action. Any fraudulent actions which is made by these directors, members or promoters are treated as overriding the statutory provisions and the company's veil is lifted. Then the second point. What is the second one? Misleading statement in the prospectus. Misleading statement means which is not true, which misleads, misguides the person when they take the decision of investment, making investment in the company. If on the basis of misleading statement, if he is investing in your company and he incurs the losses will not be compensated by the company but by the authorities which authorized to issue such a misleading prospectus. Then the third one is issue of prospectus for fraudulent purposes. See the difference between the misleading statement in the prospectus and the issue of prospectus for fraudulent purposes. What you are doing in this case, you are making such many statements which are misleading. But what you are doing here, you are issuing the prospectus for the purposes which is illegal or where you want to make a fraud. And if such a type of fraud is suspected in your prospectus, then the veil between the company is lifted and the responsibility totally rests with the authorities. Then the failure to repay deposits. If you accept the deposits and if you do not fulfill the provisions which must be observed while accepting the deposits and you fail to repay these deposits and the interest, then the persons who are making default in repaying the deposits are personally held responsible and the amount is recovered from that person and not from the company. When you are recovering the money from the person and not from the company, that means you are treating the company and the member as one and you are lifting the corporate wealth. Then the next one is holding and subsidiary companies. You all know that subsidiary companies control is totally vested with the holding company. When you have to file the financial statements, then you must include the financial statements of your subsidiary company. What you are doing here, you are treating holding and subsidiary company are one and the same when you are filing the financial statements. Investigation, the next point is investigation of ownership of a company. Investigation of ownership of a company arises when there is a suspicion. That means somebody suspects that when any person suspects that the ownership of the company is vested with some individuals and not with the company, then they can apply to the tribunal for investigating the ownership of the company. In such a case, when the investigation committee is investigating the ownership of the company, they treat the members and the company or the directors of the company as one and the same. Then investigation of affairs of the company. Same way, if there is any suspicion, that means any doubt in the affairs of the company and any person or any individual makes an application with the tribunal for investigation of the affairs of the company, then the company that means the investigation body treat the members and the company as one and the same, and they can take any information from any person whom they are treating responsible. Then the next one is fraudulent conduct of business. The business must, that means the company must form for carrying out the legal objectives, and if this is formed for carrying any business which is fraudulent, then the company is not responsible for such a fraud, but the persons, that means the natural persons who are authorizing for such a fraudulent business are held liable, and the money is recovered or the losses or the fine is imposed on such persons and not on the company. And non-payment of income tax. It is the responsibility of every company to pay the income tax. That means whichever income it is gaining, that means the profit which the company is earning, it has to pay the income tax on that profit. But you know that the company is an artificial person. It appoints some persons for paying its tax liability, and if that person fails to pay the income tax, then the company is not held responsible, but that person will be held responsible for not paying the income tax. Do you have time with us for discussing these judicial interpretations? I think yes, we have that much time to discuss these judicial interpretations. Before going to this judicial interpretation, I want to discuss again the statutory provisions. What is the first one? Incorporation on the basis of false or fraudulent information. The company must form for carrying out legal businesses. Okay, if this is formed for carrying out the legal businesses or the legal objectives, but the information which is provided by the company is fraudulent then or false, then the veil between the company and its members is lifted. What are those provisions under which we say that there is a fraudulent information or false information? When it furnishes any false or incorrect information or representation. It must provide the registrar the true and the correct information regarding the objectives or regarding the formation of the company. Then the second one is by suppressing any material fact or formation in any of the documents filed or made. That means documents, I already told you, memorandum of association, articles of association are the basic documents which must be filed with the registrar, and these documents, if suppressing or concealing the material fact in it, then it is treated as they are making false information or fraudulent information. Third one is in the same way you have to provide the true information, or you cannot conceal the material fact in the documents. In the same way you cannot conceal or suppress the material facts in the declarations which must be filed with the company. Then any fraudulent action. Any fraudulent action means any fraudulent action which is made by the person who are responsible for providing or doing the action on behalf of the company. Then the second point is misleading statements in the prospectus. Prospectus, if contains misleading statements, then such a prospectus is known as misstatement in prospectus, and it does not have any effect on the issue of prospectus. So, misleading statements must not be there in the prospectus. Then the issue of prospectus for fraudulent purposes. If the purpose of issue of prospectus is fraudulent, then also it do not have any effect on the, that means it is considered that it is not issued by the company, but it is issued by the person who authorized to issue it, and the losses or the fine are imposed on the authorities and not on the company. Then to failure to repay the deposits, it is the obligation of the company to repay the deposits. The company, that means the public limited company, can accept the deposits from the public, and the period is mentioned when they issue the deposits, and within that stipulated time they have to repay the deposit to the person who is making the deposits with interest. And if there is failure on part of the directors or the authority, then they are punished or they are imposed the fine and not the company. Then holding and subsidiary company, they are treated as same when filing the financial statements with the registrar. Investigation of affairs of the company. If any suspicion arises on the affairs of the company, then investigation committee is appointed by the tribunal, and they disregard the corporate, that means legal separate entity of a company, and treat the company and its members and one and the same. Now we will discuss the judicial interpretation. What is judicial interpretation? Judicial interpretation means when any person files a suit in the court of law against the company or against the directors of the company, and when the decisions are given by the court or the judges, then such decisions are known as judicial interpretations. We will discuss this point in our next lecture. Okay.